Greg's the baker on the left. This is a Wetherspoons here at the corner in yellow sandstone. So James Wart is at the corner of George Square there into Queen Street, which is where you get the Gallery of Modern Art. And we'll go slow, like all the way up here.
All the way up.
And if you look at the wonderful buildings right and left of us here, you've got red sandstone and yellow sandstone. But 60 years ago, when I was a girl, you couldn't tell which was yellow and which was red. Everything was black. Glasgow was a filthy, dirty city because of the pollution, particularly from the coal. So there's a lot has been done in the last 60, 70 years to literally clean up the facades of the city, demolish the buildings that weren't worth keeping, and renovate the nice Victorian buildings that were, or to build new. Now here, right and left, this is the nicest shopping street called Buchanan Street. And if you fancy a wee wander around the shops, this is where you come to, and it's seconds from George Square, as you will see, as you see. Busy, busy place. And at every corner as well, if you move further away from here, you've got bars and burger joints and cafes, restaurants. So you never go short of a place for a meal or a bite or a drink. Now if you look straight ahead, you'll see this is quite a broad straight street, and there's lots of these parallel to this one, and that was the new city plan for Glasgow from the Victorians, this gridiron plan. George Square at the centre, and then all these parallel streets running off to the new West End, and we'll see the West End later on. And then intersected at right angles by these crossing streets. This was a city plan which many American city fathers took up and based their new cities in America on this gridiron plan. Look at this building on the left. It's a gorgeous Victorian facade, but inside 21st century. And also at each corner here, right and left, and ahead, right and left, the lovely Victorian architecture has been enhanced with the cleaning and whatnot, but inside it's modern offices and restaurants, apartments higher up. And with Victorian architecture again, if you look higher up, you'll see these wonderful ornamentations and balconies and towers and turrets and so on. So the heart of Glasgow today, mixed Victorian and modern, because as we continue to rise up here straight ahead, you'll see right and left more modern architecture well into the 20th, end of the 20th century. But it all seems to go quite well together. And yes, Glasgow is hilly. These are ancient volcanoes, but long since extinct. Not the last eruption was at least 3 weeks ago. No, 330 million years ago. So we're quite safe. Same line of volcanoes on which Edinburgh Castle stands. So Nick, eventually we want to move one lane to the right.
Okay.
As we're rising up, there's no rush. And as we rise up here, do look down to your left side where the streets drop down towards modern buildings of the financial district. The next one as well. Now a couple of hundred yards ahead there's a filter light. We're going right with the filter.
Okay, no.
Coming up to the left side of the coach is a church from the middle of the 19th century, but it looks more like a Greek temple than a church in Scotland, because the architect, whose name was Alexander Thomson, earned the nickname Greek Thomson because he loved to build in the classical style, and there's a lot of classically styled buildings in Glasgow from the mid-19th century. And if you look to the left, that's the church there, does need quite a bit of renovation.